Welcome, Capricorn, your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 27th of April for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week ahead first, then on screen your event chart. As we come into the week, always provide some influential backdrops. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect by the end of the video in terms of your energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. At the end of last week, Capricorn, Uranus, the planet of surprises, but also the planet of ingeniousness, moved into the part of your situation to do with routines, your work, and obligations. Over the next 7 years, you're going to bring a freshness to those areas, and it can be very exciting. But also, as we go into this week, the position of the sun in your fellow earth sign of Taurus, brilliant for showcasing your talent, charisma, and flair, is in a tense right angle with Pluto, the planet of transformation. But that's in the part of your chart to do with your values, but also your everyday money. And it's possible if you are wanting to do something more speculative, someone else close to you has a very different view, and there could be some tensions. Now, as we head into this week, Venus is going to be very influential, like Uranus, in Gemini. But then we have a full moon on Friday, the first day of May. Full moons can bring a lot of extra charged energy into play. Essentially, it's when the sun and the moon are in competition, they're not integrated, and the moon's in the part of your scope to do with your connections to others, but the sun's in the part of your chart that's to do with you showcasing what makes you brilliant. Are you being perhaps a little bit conflicted towards managing your time? That could be one of the questions you ask. But also because Pluto T squares both the sun and the moon, if you are thinking about doing something either with a group or doing something that's more enterprising, you need to be very conscious of the cost, but also the worth to you. By the end of the week, Mercury, the planet of communication, darts into a really bright and bubbly and effervescent part of your chart. Excellent for reigniting your social situation, which may seem strange with the sun in that fifth house. But I'm going to share with you on screen now the overall map. The moon's right at the top of your chart in the earth sign of Virgo, but in the ninth house. So you could feel a bit restless this week. The sun in that fifth house, very much about embracing pleasure. And that can be through your social interactions, can be romantically. But when it comes to that pleasure, is there a cost to it that's really working for you? And if someone you need to interact with has a very different viewpoint, there could be a battle of wills as you go into the new week. Fortunately, Uranus moving into that sixth house is going to be really exciting, but it is at times going to be bringing some unpredictability to areas that may have felt quite routine and regular in the past. And that can have its challenges. But initially, in this conjunction with Venus, if there are some ideas, particularly ideas you've wanted to embrace to do with hobbies, interests, but especially to do with making and creating, I think that's a fabulous alliance for you, particularly as they link back to the RT Neptune in your fourth house. So you could do something fresh and new from the comfort of your home. You could even think about a new job opportunity, which helps you to balance your home and emotional life with freshening up the responsibilities and work that you do. But Venus is moving forwards as the week goes on. Some kind of powerful conversation is possible at the heart of the week. It may be about money and it may be about work. If it comes out of absolutely nowhere, it's possible that it's fated. But then Venus moves forwards and forges a very strong sextile to your ruler Saturn. Whatever you're trying to do that is perhaps remolding some part of your daily functions and approaches, your very methodical way of approaching things, but still being open to doing things in a fresh and imaginative and artistic way can definitely be very strong. Brings us to that full moon. We all know that we can't be all of the things to every person. And it's the full moon that could bring up that old concept of quality being the key over quantity. So if you do feel a bit pulled around balancing all your social interaction and your friendships, I think that that is going to be a factor because part of you at the moment, I think, is much more drawn towards your home and perhaps a little bit more quiet time. But by the end of the week, Mercury moves forwards and moves into the playful fifth house. And that can help to bring a new ignition to that part of your situation. And the sun will still have another 2 weeks to run through this lovely fifth house. And also Jupiter, the planet which is very much to do with fortune, retains its location in your sector of relating right through to the end of June. For sure, it is in a upbeat right angle to Mercury at the start of the week. If there is someone you like, just don't try too hard to impress them too quickly. I'm going to summarize the four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next, Capricorn. But just to say, I've slashed the price of my personal horoscopes. You now get three for the price of one. You order your life roadmap report, which helps us to understand the patterns that are played out in our existence so far, but get a more intimate understanding of them. However, it also helps us to guide our way forwards in a more aware way. But also, you'll get your free 12-month forecast and your draconic analysis, very much to do with the karmic side of astrology. So three for the price of one. Why? Because I know people are feeling the pinch. But second, because I really passionately want more people to engage with natal astrology because it really can pour light on understanding how to make the most of our passage through this life. If you've yet to watch your May monthly forecast, that's on the screen. Your Uranus Gemini 1 year forecast on the screen. If you'd like to work with me personally, it would be a pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. If you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please take advantage of that by signing up below. Now, to summarize, when it comes to your relationship situation, the fact that Mercury moves at the end of this week into the most playful, mischievous part of its journey is really going to reignite that side of things. And having Jupiter in your sector of relating is helpful. But I think Venus, which of course can be very much about relating, does have a bit more of a practical dimension. But in Gemini, it's wanting mental stimulation. But I think it could be around a hobby you've got or attending some kind of group or meetup where you could have a sudden and very charismatic connection to someone through the help of Uranus. But when it comes to your work, I don't think you'll be doing the same job, or at least in the same way, probably by the end of the next 2 years, because things are changing at such a pace. But also, I feel you're going to be a bit more restless about what you've been doing more recently. As far as your vitality is concerned, the full moon just suggests there are only so many hours in the day. So it really is knowing when to actually reclaim a little bit of time for you personally rather than being drawn into what other people need, even if they are people you're fond of. Have a great week, Capricorn. Thank you so much for joining me and look forward to seeing you again soon.